All right, we are live. Best Ball and Brews. We're doing a live weekly winners draft on Underdog Fantasy. I got Neil Orfield with me here. He's a Millie Maker winner, multiple 100K plus DFS wins, and most importantly, Neil, a fellow spring football enthusiast from Flannelverse here to join me. How we doing, Neil?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Minnesota. I've got softball coming up tonight, which is why we had to move this stream up a little bit. Feeling good today. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited for this. It's funny. I've been listening to you for years. From like Jordan Cooper's Theory of DFS. Stochastic. Your fantasy sports coverage. Your fantasy points rather with UFL. So glad to finally get you on, pick your brain a little bit. Specifically, weekly winners. You're a DFS mind. So excited to hop into this contest and get some of your thoughts on it.
Yeah, honestly, I just love attacking new contest types because weekly winner is something that, it comes out and I see a lot of people posting different ideas about how you should be playing it. Some people play it just like regular best ball. I think it's just fun to play different, newer contest types is always kind of fun. What's up, Dixon?
Does Dixon post on your stuff too?
No, I don't think I've ever seen Dixon before.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll follow you over there to the Flannelverse. That's Neil's channel. I'm sure he'll be shouting it out a little bit. So definitely check it out. Flannelverse. But yeah, we got some usual guys in here. We got Tattoo. I got the baby face. That's gonna be me.
I think this is my first time ever doing content on this channel. I feel like I know a lot of the guys from the DFS Army, but I've never actually collaborated with any.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you on. I was talking to Geek recently, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to get some people on from." Speaking of Geek, CEO of DFSarmy. What's up, Geek? He's watching, and we got Raymond here. He won the Underdog Puppy this year. He won 200K.
Oh, nice.
So
damn.
Yeah. So we got some sharp minds. Who's ready to hop into a weekly winners draft?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So we're going to do the 20-second clock. I'm guessing this will go pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, I say I'm ready, but as I was saying before the stream, every time I play weekly winners, I'm doing slow drafts for sure. Like this is one of the toughest contests for me to do with a fast draft because I don't have all the matchups memorized. What happens, on any given week. So it's a tougher format to do in a fast draft. But this is on your dime. I mean, since we're using your account, I don't care if they were doing a fast draft.
Exactly. All right, guys, get in here. Hopefully they didn't join another draft, but I know it's interesting. This is like we were talking a little bit beforehand. It's really hard to think about, as far as like, what am I gonna, which week am I gonna stack? So especially with a 20-second draft and talking through it, it can be hard. But I've done a few of these, so I'm with it.
Yeah, Geek says toughest format for sure and harder while live streaming. Yeah, this is the worst for for your team, for making a good team while live streaming is definitely going to be tough. But we'll do our best here. I can enter if you'd like for me to enter the draft with you. I'd be happy to just to fill it quicker. Maybe we'll give it a minute, and then if it's not filling, I'll enter on my end as well. We can talk through our picks.
Yeah, definitely. I know. You're doing some of your own content with the Eliminator. That's another one we've been looking at on our channel as well, doing some drafts with the Eliminator because it's very much like a cash game. So
I'm a big fan of the Eliminator. I did 60 drafts last year. I got one of them to week 15. I got another one to week 14, and both of them were the top lineup cut. I missed the second team that made it to week 14, lost by like 1.3 points to get to week 15. And that was my better team. And then my one remaining team, week 15, lost by like less than 3 points. It was, and I had a Swecko, and I think I needed like 14 out of DJ Moore, and he got up to 11. And then I think they benched their starters in the fourth quarter. Something weird happened. Yeah. So that was, I got pretty close to the promised land in the Eliminator last year. So this year, I think I'm probably going to max it out. Last year, I only did 60 drafts. This year, I'm going to be doing a lot more of them. I have not done any of them yet, though, and that's intentional. That's I'll give you the one piece of strategy that I give publicly. That as you said, I've done one piece of Eliminator content and I put it behind the paywall. in the Flannelverse, but the one thing that I'm saying publicly is I think that there's a big advantage to drafting late in the eliminator. I think it's a little bit different than regular best ball, because in regular best ball, you don't face teams outside of your pod until week 15, whereas in the eliminator, as soon as week 2, I could do a draft in September and draft against somebody, play against somebody who drafted today. And there's just a much higher likelihood that somebody who drafted today is going to have some dead roster spots. Whereas teams that I draft later, I'm going to get, the breakout players. Jordan Mason was a late, late August pick. Sam Darnold, after Jaden McCarthy got hurt, and he ended up being the quarterback 9. So I'm intentionally waiting on those eliminator drafts, but I do think it is a very, very fun format. And obviously, if you're doing a lot of drafts and you're doing content on it, you can't really wait until August. But I'm holding off on some of my drafts, or all of my drafts.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you kind of take like the barbell approach to it.
Well,
in some ways.
My approach to the eliminator is just waiting. Like I'm literally just waiting until the end. So it's not, I'm not doing any drafts right now, because I just think you're at a disadvantage, particularly with your late picks there. So I'm just completely waiting on the eliminator. But I'm doing a ton of other drafts. So I'm doing the barbell with all my other contest types. The eliminator is the one that I'm waiting on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because to your point, like, you're not trying to beat like a large field. It's after the first week, right? It's just a series of head-to-heads. So
yeah,
I totally
the entire season, basically just all head-to-heads.
Yeah, which the reason why I like the eliminator is because kind of the exact opposite of the weekly winners, right? Like, all right, I'm actually on the clock. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take Genty here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of the exact opposite of this contest. This contest, like, it's almost like winning the Millie Maker, right? Like, it's 89,000 entries, and you're trying to win first place. So
right. Yeah, and they're just every week is its own contained head-to-head. So very different than here. All right, so you took Genty. So we're not trying to win week 8. We are maybe going to think about some other week that we want to consider trying to win, or that's one way I try to play it. Is sometimes I'll try it's since we're doing fast draft, we probably can't even really think about like that kind of stuff. But what we might want to think about, like, do we want to try to win early season versus late season? I think Genty could work for either. Like, I think he's the type of rookie who's going to be good right away. We don't have to lump him in as a late round guy. Right. What are you thinking here?
I would prefer Drake London. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we could do a Penix stack. We'll see kind of how it shapes up. So I have given it a couple thoughts. I'm like, so we got week 8, week 5. You can either kind of just have, like a typical like staggered bye week, so that gives your team the best chance to win the most amount of weeks, or you can just kind of load up on a couple of weeks, and you're like, okay, so we're not going to win week 8, right? That's certainly one way to look at it. Or we like attack week 8, which clearly we're not going to do in this draft because we took Genty.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I'm more of the, because you're trying to beat 200,000 teams. I don't really think just like stacking bye weeks to me is enough. I think I want to do more than just like, just some people just take all week 8 buys and just, throw away that week, and your team's just slightly stronger every other week. And that's a step. Like, don't get me wrong, like that is an approach that obviously a lot of sharp people do. I just think for me, I think if I really want to give myself the best chance of winning a contest with 200,000 people winning some week, I think I'd rather like specifically look at, okay, I want to win weeks 8 through 12, or like just like pick out a group of weeks that I'm like, I want to try to win those weeks in particular. Sometimes it's for me as few as like 1 or 2 weeks that I'm really focusing on, and obviously you're hoping that you can win other weeks as well. But that's what's fascinating about this format is like I don't think it's necessarily wrong to stack a bye week, just like take everybody from week 8. But to me, it doesn't give you quite as big of an edge as like being proactively attacking. Like, I want to win specific weeks,
right?
But the other thing that I think is really powerful in weekly winners is not following ADP. So just going for unique combinations.
Right.
So if we could like pull up somebody from the late second round here who people are not going to have the combo with. So like Genty and Drake London, probably like sort of common combo. But since we're trying to win a contest with 200,000 people, I think just like bringing up a Devontae Adams here or something. He's not actually a good example because he's this isn't too far off ADP. But going after like unique combos that nobody's going to have here, maybe Jameson Williams. I don't know if he's a great example. It's easier in the earlier rounds.
Yeah.
Take your guy, whoever you want here.
Take I don't know.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is fine.
Devontae is good. Yeah, he's good. No, I like that approach because, you know, we talk about this a lot of times when it's like a large field GPP. It's kind of like first or last approach. And really, like, especially in weekly winners, you don't really care if your team sucks most weeks as long as it gets first place one week. Exactly.
Yeah, you're not trying to win every week in weekly winners. Now, I think that what I'm talking about works the best in the early rounds. So I'll give you, we'll make our pick and then I'll give you an example. Now, who do you think you like here? I'm trying to think of who we could get that's, I mean, actually, like, no, George Kittle, we're right around ADP. I also don't know the weekly winners ADPs. I have not really played this year. So George Pickens, maybe, like pull George Pickens up here if he goes a little bit later. Yeah, I like that because he's probably not going to be with this group a ton.
You would take Pickens here?
Just somebody who's not rated ADP.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get a little weird with it. We'll take Pickens there.
So I'll give you the best example of what I'm talking about. So 2 years ago, when I first started playing weekly winners, there was 1 week that I decided I was going to try to win, and I got the 101, and I decided I was going to try to win week, I think 8. The Lions played the Ravens, whatever week that was. So with the 101, and at that time, so Amon-Ra St. Brown had an ADP of like 12, and Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson had ADPs of like 27 and 28 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it occurred to me, probably nobody in this contest of 200,000 people, or like very, very few teams, are going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. Like, that's going to be an extremely rare combo here. But like, would it surprise anybody if Amon-Ra St. Brown for that 1 week outscores Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, all the players that went ahead of him? So I went ahead and took Amon-Ra St. Brown with the 101 that year. And then my goal was to take Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews. They actually, one of them went ahead of me. So kind of bit me in the ass, but it got me thinking about, I think that especially early on, there's going to be some really unique combos where, like, on a season long basis, the projection is going to, you know, be different in a meaningful way. But like in a given week, it's going to be like a 2-point differential in the projection. And, you know, clearly the lower projected player can outscore the others. And you might have a combo that's just like nuclear that's going to way outscore everybody else. So that's kind of how I like to approach weekly winners, is try to go for some of those unique combos that not a lot of people are going to have, particularly early on.
I like that. So we probably got to grab another running back here. One of the research that I found specifically for the weekly winners is most of the teams took about 2 running backs in the first 5 picks, just because, you know, the half PPR format. So kind of got to look at maybe grabbing another one.
Yeah, you could either that or I mean, we already have 3 receivers.
3 receivers.
If there's a running back you like, we could take RJ Harvey and play for later season. Like I kind of think that could work. Just like targeting, this might be a team that is good for targeting late in the season. I mean, obviously we have some old guys. I mean, we have Devontae Adams. I guess he's the only real old guy, but like he's the kind of player that could still be good later in the year. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Absolutely. So a question for you, Neil, because I watched one of your recent videos on Flannelverse, and you were talking a little bit about zero RB. Yeah. Now, obviously, that was the example was more DK specific, right? Where it's you know, 20 rounds, it's like easier to do zero RB there, and it's half PPR or full PPR rather. What do you think? Like, what is typically your go-to in best ball? Zero RB, hero RB.
I think hero RB is probably going to be like the largest part of my portfolio in my teams this year. I'll still do some zero RB. Like it kind of, I rarely go into a draft with a specific strategy in mind. It's more like I do try to kind of draft from the back. Okay.
Okay. Where you're picking and everything.
Yeah.
All right. So
Jordan Addison is going to miss the first part of the season, but should come on late. So he's not a bad pick here.
Okay. You know what? We got to do it. We got the Minnesota guy here. We got to take Jordan Addison.
Exactly right. So I never go into a draft with a set strategy, but I think like the most often is going to be those hero RB where like I get some kind of anchor to my team early on to my running back room, but then I do, kind of like taking those late shots. That's also going to be easier later on when like we have a better idea who the running back twos are on a lot of teams. Right now, it's kind of a mess.
Right.
A lot of places like Jarquez Hunter versus Blake Corum. I don't know who's the Chiefs backup running back. There's just so many questions right now that are going to get answered, and it's going to make it easier to make good teams there. To answer, I'll start answering some of these questions. Tattooed Freak says, I bet you Neil loves hockey. I actually am not a huge hockey guy. I'm a basketball guy. I grew up watching basketball, playing basketball. So I am the rare Minnesotan who never really got into hockey. Like if the Wild are in the playoffs and I'm at a bar, I'll watch it. But like I never turn on hockey at home. So sorry to disappoint you.
It's hard to follow all the sports.
Like, it is. And hockey and basketball are like overlap completely. Yeah. So,
and you're a married man, right?
I am a married man. I used to live like half a mile from the Excel. So I went to one game. A buddy of mine got some tickets, drove up to me. We walked down. It was fun. It was like electric. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the reason I asked that is because I know, like, I watched more sports when I was a single man. It was just like, yeah, watch that game that's on tonight. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But you got to choose your battles.
There were years, and I rarely watch baseball anymore. There were years that I would watch like every Twins game just about, or at least like a majority of Twins games, which that's a lot of games.
Yeah. No doubt about it. All right. Looking at who to take next here. Do we take? We got Addison. We could take Hawkinson. And maybe we can have a little stack there. Maybe target JJ McCarthy later.
Hawkinson or Matthew Golden. One of those two to me.
Yeah.
Or Ricky Pearsall. I actually don't hate any of those.
Yeah, let's take Hawkinson here. So we can start maybe setting up a stack. And what I loved about JJ McCarthy is you can get him late. And also, like, I just believe in Kevin O'Connell. Like, Sam Darnold was left for dead. And he looked like a star. I mean, one point last year, he was in the MVP conversation. So I just trust that Kevin O'Connell is going to scheme up, JJ McCarthy to have some big games, right?
Yeah. I'm a huge, very much in on the Vikings this year. So we are on the same page there. I think I'm a believer in Kevin O'Connell. I'm a believer in the receiving options. I'm a believer in the dome games. I mean, it's just that there's so much going on there.
Yeah. There went Mooney. I missed on Mooney. Do we want to take Golden? We talked about Golden.
Yeah, let's go Golden.
Yeah.
Vikings also play the Packers twice. So if we go with the Viking stack,
yeah,
that's helpful.
We can potentially stack him up with Jordan Love. So we probably need to take another running back here pretty soon. We've only got 2. Looking a little thin.
Yeah.
But we got some guys in the draft with us. Let's see how they're doing. We got Razor here. He went Gibbs, Higgins, Chase Brown, Jameson, Burrow. So we got a little Burrow stack there with Chase Brown. So that's a nice stack. The Bengals for me, Neil, I'm all in on them again because I just think their defense is going to be bad again.
It's pretty key to having an atomic football team, and the offense is just a really bad defense. So yeah.
Well, and last year that was the thing is, you looked at the winners from last year. Last year doesn't always mean that it's going to be great this year, but when we can project that they have a top 5 offense, probably again, assuming everyone stays healthy and the defense is bad, I think there's a highly likelihood that we're going to see Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase in a lot of winning lineups as we did last year. So I like that.
Unfortunately, it's hard to go all in on the Bengals because you really can't. Like it's impossible based on ADP. Like if you take Joe Burrow, you might have a shot at T. Higgins. You'll probably have a shot at Chase Brown. So you can like sort of make it work. I am typically I try to push Joe Burrow after the 48-49 turn because you can sometimes get him to come back, but not always at the 72.
I've got lucky a couple times, like picking from 1 or 2, and I've been able to get, Chase and then Higgins, and then sometimes Burrow falls. He doesn't always because there's always an asshole that wants to take him, but sometimes.
Jordan Mason went. I'm also a big believer in Jordan Mason, but not necessarily on a team where we're stacking all of the Vikings. Zach Charbonnet is a great late round pick for Dak Prescott. We also have George Pickens, by the way, if you wanted to consider that.
Dak, yeah. Yeah, might as well. And then we can go after Ferguson as a double later.
Yep. It's pretty nice.
I would rather do that than Javante. I can't get behind Javante.
No, me neither.
As a Broncos fan, I watched him last year, and last year was year 2 in recovery from the injury, and he was just terrible.
I drafted a lot of them last year, so he was pretty disappointing from that standpoint.
Yeah.
What's up, C Money? That's seen him multiple times over the past couple of days. Good to see you,
dude. C Money is just absorbing all the content. Love it.
Just all a true best ball sicko.
Yeah.
Ray did. I think he was on Pete's channel or something. I've seen Ray on a show before.
Let's take Charbonnet here.
Yeah. I like Charbonnet quite a bit here.
Okay. The thing I like about Charbonnet is Kenneth Walker never has really been able to stay healthy. And if we saw last year, if Walker goes down, Charbonnet is a league winner. And honestly, like, should Kenneth Walker get traded? Same thing. Like, there's 2 ways that I think that Charbonnet just ends up breaking out. It's injury or a potential trade.
Yep, I'm very high on Charbonnet this year. I've been drafting a lot of Kenneth Walker too, like just in case he does stay healthy, like he could be really good. But on teams when I don't have Kenneth Walker, I love taking Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, Geek, I know you've been on Javante. I've been trying to like let go of my bias for Javante. I'm not sure that he's going to start though. I'm not sure. I'm just going to say that.
But is it a bias? Because I had the bias last year. I was really in on Javante, and I did let go of that bias. I decided, you know what, maybe this guy's not that good at football.
Right.
But
the thing is he was really good before the injury. But it's like, okay, so will year 3 be the year that he returns to form, or is he just done forever? Like, did it just ruin him? And it happens to guys. We saw it in Denver with Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer, but he had his injury and he just couldn't get healthy. His knees were never the same.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. I've got definite opinions about the next pick.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I should wait, right?
What's
that?
I
mean, you already know who I want. Yeah, exactly.
JJ McCarthy. Okay. We got the double. So as long as we don't get sniped here, I think we got to do it since we got Hawkinson.
Yeah.
All right. Might as well. And it's right about ADP, so I'm all about it. And we got different bye weeks for Dak and JJ. And our bye weeks are somewhat staggered. They're not looking terrible.
But this is weekly winners, so
yeah. All right.
My mic was unplugged there for a second. Can you hear me? Yeah,
I can hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay. Good. I don't know. I got a notification that my mic was unplugged. But this is weekly winners. Got to keep in mind. So we don't necessarily want the staggered bye weeks.
True. Yeah. If we could just, I like Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams is going to have a big year.
Yeah, we could go Kyle. I mean, we've taken a lot of like late round potential breakouts. So yeah, I'd be happy to go Kyle Williams.
Yeah, I've heard good things from minicamp, and it's kind of an ambiguous wide receiver room. Like, yeah, Diggs. If Diggs is healthy, Diggs is a guy. But, who knows? These guys, especially when they're a little older, they're coming back from an ACL. We don't necessarily know that Diggs is going to be his former self right away. And Kyle Williams, a lot of talent evaluators really liked him. So, and I like Drake May. I'm high on Drake May this year.
Who knows how many pink powders Diggs is going to be consuming in the offseason. I mean, maybe he doesn't make it.
Yeah, we never know, especially with him dating Cardi B. He may be in the club, get into a fight.
Is he dating Cardi B? I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah. That was a whole funny thing about the boat situation. Is like, okay, so he's like smacking girls in the ass. He's got pink powder, and it's like he's dating Cardi B this whole time. And we know who Diggs is. You know who Diggs is because you're a Vikings fan. He's got a hot head. And Cardi B has a hot head too. This is going to end tragically. And who knows if the police will end up involved.
Maybe it's already ended. For all we know, it could have already ended. Geek says pink powder might make him play, but that's a good point, actually. Maybe he just really goes off with that number 1 spot.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got wide receiver 1 energy. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, gotta love the wide receiver one energy. I mean, yeah, Diggs' energy for that is top notch.
Yeah. All right. So I'm about to pick here. After we pick and come back around, we'll look at Ivan Drago's draft. He's been in every single one of these streams, DFS Army staff. And also we got Geek here, Chief ST. So we'll look and see how they're doing. Looks like we can maybe double up on tight end here. I think we're probably good at quarterback for a while. We took a couple back to back. We need another running back. I like Tank Bigsby. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I'm good with Tank Bigsby, especially as I guess regardless of the part of the season, he could be good. So yeah, Ferguson, Bigsby. I was going to say Romeo Dobbs, another name to consider for that those Vikings Packers games. Yeah, if we can get.
Yeah, we'll see how this comes back around. We got 4 picks here. So Penix just went. Good thing I missed out on Mooney, so really didn't need Penix anyway. So yeah, a little run on quarterbacks. Geek, I know that hurts you taking Sam Darnold because he's a Jets fan, and you know, not good feelings with Darnold as a Jets fan.
We're very mixed here in Minnesota. I mean, he was so good for so much of the year, and then just completely tanked.
Right?
Yeah, it just fell apart. All right, what's it gonna be?
All right, so Ferguson made it back to us. I'm gonna take him there.
Like it, yep.
Double up with Dak. That'll work. So we got 2 tight ends, different bye weeks. We got London, Adams, Pickens, Addison, Golden, Kyle Williams. I like the wide receivers. You know, we're anchored with Gianti there. Harvey, I still have hope with Harvey, especially in this format. I think he's going to have some big weeks. He's a very explosive player. Charbonnet and Bigsby, and we got 2 quarterbacks so far. So we are doing pretty good so far, Neil.
Yeah, we're looking great.
Let's look at
running backs. Okay.
What's that?
No, we have 4 running backs.
Yeah.
Looking good. Go ahead.
So let's take a look at Drago's draft so far. I got Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, and then went 3 running backs, Mixon, Brees Hall, Montgomery. I like that. Got Tet, Brian Robinson, Mooney, Egbuka, Higgins, CJ Stroud. So stacked both Stroud and Penix. You got Mooney for the Penix stack, Stroud with Nico Collins there. Also was able to get Kyle Pitts with Penix. So
yeah, looks good.
Yeah, pretty good. Also has a little secondary stack there with Tet and Rico Dowdle. He's got a lot of correlation, which I love in this type of format. You know, more correlation, the better.
Yeah, especially with the quarterback and the pass catchers, like it's just clear, direct, 1-to-1. We're talking DFS style large field tournaments, like that correlation hits in a given week. Yeah, looks good.
Definitely. All right, so we're coming up here. We probably need, I don't know, another running back, but I don't love this crop. Maybe wait.
I mean, Miles Sanders could be the Cowboys RB1 if we really want to slap the Javonte lovers.
Yeah.
Jarquez Hunter could be a late season breakout.
I like Hunter.
I assume J.K. Dobbins has gone a while ago.
All right, I'm gonna go against the grain here. Geek's gonna call me a homer. I'm taking Pat Bryant.
Great pick. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in on Pat Bryant this year, and we got a correlation there with RJ Harvey. So
yeah, looks good.
Yeah, but we'll see what makes it back to us for running back, and we're probably pretty set on wide receiver.
Yeah, we're probably good there. Yeah, this is weekly winners. We don't have to, abide by any particular structures. We can do whatever we want, whatever we think is going to make this team pop for just 1 week.
Yeah,
that's good of you, Ivan. I don't hate him. I don't dislike the guy.
All right, let's take Sanders here.
Sure.
I mean, he made it a more exciting season than you thought, right? Well, once JJ McCarthy went down, you're like, oh, we're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not think they were going to be very good, and they held on.
Yeah, it was impressive.
But what if JJ McCarthy is just a better quarterback? Like Sam Darnold looked that good in this offense. What about JJ McCarthy? What if he's the real deal?
That's a good point. I mean, people really liked him before the draft. So last year, I think, a lot of us forget about that. It was Caleb Williams, it was Jaden Daniels, it was Drake May, and it was JJ McCarthy. And, Nix and Penix were kind of the afterthoughts. They were supposed to be the late first round picks, but JJ McCarthy got hurt and everyone's forgot about him. But maybe he's going to be another great rookie quarterback. We'll see.
He says the knee feels great. Yeah, this is a great time to invest in 2024 football cards. Just like buy the boxes, keep the boxes, because we're gonna have some stars. Are you a football card guy or a card collector?
I was when I was a kid. I got some good ones actually. I got to go through. Nice. I stopped, but I got to go through my collection, see what I got.
I've kind of stopped recently, like over the past 5 years. I haven't really bought many cards, but even as an adult, I was for a while a pretty big collector. I still I get the itch sometimes.
Yeah.
Mostly just open boxes more than anything.
Yeah. I like that though.
Dante Thornton kind of interesting as like but we are probably good at wide receiver. We can whoever. Dylan Sampson, kind of an interesting late round rookie running back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. We got some gambles here, and most of these guys, Pigsby, Sanders, Sampson, maybe one of them will hit. Probably unlikely that two of them hit. So we're taking another shot there.
Would you consider Kirk in case Atlanta figures out Penix sucks? I mean, in this format, I think it'd be more viable than regular best ball. Like in regular best ball, I wouldn't want to spend a roster spot on a quarterback who is a likely zero. Here it's maybe a little bit more viable because you just need like 1 week where Kirk is like the quarterback who separates. I could kind of see it. I'm probably not going to do it, but you can like make a better case for it in weekly winners.
Yeah, we could do that. We probably need another quarterback. What about Shuck or Wilson?
We don't need another quarterback. This is weekly winners. We just need one of our two quarterbacks to hit.
Yeah.
So I think we'd be fine. Jalen Noel, I think, is a pretty strong, or Dante Thornton. But it's up to you. If you want another quarterback, we could. Okay.
Yeah. I like Thornton because of the correlation with Gianti there. So, yeah, I think that's a good one. But, yeah, good point. If we expect Dak to return to form, and JJ McCarthy to have a good year, then, that's probably all we need.
Well, because we're not playing for the full season. We're just trying to win 1 week. So we're just hoping that one of these guys can hit.
Yeah.
For just one couple weeks of the season when we need them to. That's all.
Exactly. I like that. So I definitely try to think about divisional opponents and weekly winners. That's a question I get often. It's so if you have, Jamar Chase and you can do a little ping pong stack with, Zay Flowers or Isaiah Likely, I do that because they're going to play each other twice a year. And, the Ravens are probably going to score a ton of points and the Bengals are going to have to answer. So,
I think that totally viable. I look more specifically at those specific weeks. So I try to, if I'm going to build around Bengals Ravens, I would then. So I'm trying to win those 2 weeks. I'm building game stacks for that game. And then rather than building out around the division, I'd specifically look at other games, which games are in a dome, which games have high totals, and try to build out players from those games. But I think that's viable. Just trying to take, still it's more aggressive than just taking a regular best ball approach to it. Just having some idea of what you're trying to do to give yourself some correlation that can really boost your whole team. I think that makes sense. Most
definitely. Ray, I like the Taj Brooks. He's been my guy that I've been targeting late, just because several reasons. I've said it before. I'm a big fan of Matt Waldman and the work that he does, and his pre-draft rookie scouting portfolio had Taj Brooks as one of his top backs. And I think he went to the perfect spot in the sense that if Chase Brown gets hurt, he could be a league winner, very high upside offense, and you're getting him so late that he's practically free, and these are the kind of guys that make the difference.
Yep. Probably not a ton of standalone value, but like massive contingent upside.
Yeah.
Also, we're assuming that he beats out Zach Moss, but I think that's
right.
Not unlikely.
No, and he profiles as the same kind of back, so that's definitely who he would be trying to beat out. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good draft there, Ray. And besides Ray's, he's more of the best ball guy. He hasn't, given too much thought to the weekly winners, so that was a good one. Geek here, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra started with double wide receiver, then went Hurts. That's one of the things, obviously in weekly winners, like if you can get a high upside quarterback, you give yourself a lot of shots, right? Like Jalen Hurts, and specifically Jalen Hurts is a guy you don't necessarily need to stack him. So a lot of, I think about 17% of the time it was a naked quarterback, and it was always a running quarterback, right? Fields, it was, Jalen Hurts, it was Lamar, it was Josh Allen. But he did get a stack here with Devonta Smith, doubled up on the rookie running backs. I'm a big fan of the rookie running backs this year. What about you?
Oh, yeah. That's a big part of what I'm drafting is part of the reason I think that like zero RB, hero RB is more viable because there's just so many good rookie running backs.
Yeah. 100%. Geek's a big Ricky Pearsall fan this year. I like Ricky Pearsall too. I got him in Dynasty last year. Loved him. Evan Ingram and Javonte, staying true to the brand. Got Javonte.
Yeah, it's going to be very sad for him when Miles Sanders beats out Javonte, but enjoy it for now.
Yeah.
I have no read on that backfield, to be clear. I'm joking. I'm not like, I do draft Miles Sanders just because he goes so late, but I don't feel that great about the click.
Yeah. And the thing is like I said, Javonte, he did have a lot of opportunities last year, but again, he was a really good running back before the injury. So we don't know what he's going to look like. It's all health based. Like the skill set was there, but he got two in, also Trey Benson, Darnold, Xavier Legette, Wan'Dale Robinson, Shipley obviously stacks with Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts. In the event that Saquon Barkley goes down, Shipley could be a league winner, much like Taj Brooks, right?
Yep. I've drafted a ton of Will Shipley. I drafted a ton last year and didn't go so great, but back in.
Definitely. Well, Neil, do you got time for one more, or you got to get out of here?
Sure. Yeah. You want to do one more? I could do another word.
Yeah, they're pretty quick, right? We're just doing the 20-seconder. So, all right, everyone, let's fill this one quick. 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, one person. So.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, that was super fast.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get my weekly winners in as quick as possible because I feel like last year, like once the casual crowd like started around training camp, like this contest filled so fast. So I want to get 50 in this year.
I missed out on it last year because I was kind of saving it because I was doing all my BBMs and stuff. And then by the time I was ready to draft them, it was filled up. So I was pretty sad about that.
Yeah. How many of these do you think you're going to do this year?
I probably won't max it out. I think I'm more likely to max out the Eliminator. And I'm going to max out like BBM, some other contests. But I'll try to get at least like 50. I think that's a good benchmark where it's like, all right, I've got my 50 that I can like look at every week and like have some kind of a sweat for when DFS doesn't go my way and all my best ball teams suck. I can at least get some hope out of weekly winners.
Agreed. And that's actually what I really love about this contest. And this is it's a DFS contest. Like, make no mistake, you're drafting, your team for season long, but it's a DFS contest every week. So whatever, if you're traveling and you go light on DFS that week, you're like, well, I still have 50 weekly winners or 100 or however many you do. So that's fun. But I'm with you on the Eliminator. I want to do, a good amount of those just because it's more of a cash game and it's much more plus EV than this. I have to ask, Neil, you said you made it to week 15. What was the payout for your week 15 team?
It's $200 last year. It was brutal. Okay. Only $200 to make. This year it'd be 20,000. It is more difficult this year though. But it was getting to the point where it's like the payouts start to become, exponential, but just like right as they're starting to take off. I needed to make it one more week to really get the big payouts.
Yeah. Okay. It's good to know. I'm glad to know that they changed it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Okay. So
here is where I like to reach and take a Nico Collins, and then just got like three players from that kind of that same range down there. So I wouldn't mind taking a Nico Collins. Okay.
Oh, did I make it? Okay, I got Nico. So that it's so different, and really everywhere else in the draft you can go do whatever you want, and your lineup's going to be unique because you took Nico.
So here, think of it this way: if we take Nico Collins and I mean, we don't have great correlations here, but like Nico Collins and Devin Achan and Brian Thomas, and those three put up 80 points one week. Like they're the three players who really go off for 90 points. Like sometimes you can put up huge scores. Nobody else is going to have that comp. Like very, very few teams in this tournament there's 200,000, but now you've reduced the size of the contest. And obviously you can still lose to teams that have lesser players if they have better surrounding players. But like you're giving yourself a huge leg up on the field if you can just have a unique combo, particularly early on, with players who clearly have that massive upside too. Like I said, put up 90 fantasy points in a given week. It wouldn't be that shocking if those three put up 90 fantasy points in a given week. And they can really separate from all the other first and second rounders, but people are not going to have that combo. So I think in a field of 200,000, this is a way that you can just really separate by really reaching and taking.
Most definitely. Well, and Nico Collins last year, before he got hurt, he was wide receiver 1.
Yeah. I'm realizing that I was giving the wrong range of players there because we're not going to be able to get the other two that I mentioned, but the same logic applies. We're still going to get some very high upside players back to us.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this, Dixon, if you're watching best ball, pods and shows right now, you're not really casual.
Especially in mid-June. Yeah, you're not that casual.
Yeah. All right, so who we got? I don't know if Ray made it to this one or Ivan, but Geek made it in this one. So he went with Puka Nacua. Neighbors and London went back to back to end the first and go into the second. So Geek got Puka Nacua and Devin Achan.
Very nice.
Like it.
Yeah. Some strong starts.
I've been big on the Rams so far in these because Cooper Kupp was just such a disappointment the past year, mainly last year because, I kind of bought the hype that he was hurt the year before and that last year he would be his normal self. And he just looked very washed last year. So Devontae Adams is such a massive upgrade compared to the version of Cooper Kupp that we saw last year. So if you can get Puka and Adams with Stafford, that's definitely going to have some spike weeks.
Big time.
All right. So we like JT, Irving, Jacobs, or Bowers?
Let's go. I would hate getting Bowers here and then take one of the running backs.
Yeah. I haven't taken any Bowers early, so I like that we can take Bowers and then we could just get a late tight end and just do 2 tight end builds with Bowers.
Yeah.
And that'll definitely be unique. Nico and Bowers start at 4.
Yeah. I was debating whether is this unique enough, but I'd have to look closer at the numbers. I can't read the ADPs that well, but it's I think that'll be a little bit different.
All right, now Jacobs or Brown? I guess we'll see who. I'll take either of those guys.
Yeah, happy to. I like Brown, so I don't hate
the little reach there. Yeah, that's how they right at ADP. Let's do it.
Because I also think based on the ADPs of Brown and Nico Collins, just that 2-man combo is going to be pretty unique. Maybe occasionally Brown falls all the way to 36, but I doubt it happens all that often.
Right. So we started the draft with a running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end. So clearly because we waited or we got an early tight end, we're probably going to want to wait at quarterback. That's the research that I found was kind of you took one or the other, right? If you took an early quarterback, you waited on tight end and vice versa.
Yeah, and we're setting. I mean, we've got Nico Collins, Brock Bowers. Those are some nice later quarterback options we can staff with.
Absolutely. We can get Stroud. We'll queue him up. We can get Gino. And we'll have good late double stacking options. We can get maybe Myers and Higgins, Jaden Higgins, and Besh. And then also Thornton. We took Thornton in our last draft.
True.
So we'll see how that goes. All right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you can just type in the team name there. A little bit easier to just like, so you don't forget anybody, just like have the list of all the players.
Good. You know, I've never done that. You're
not
teaching me things on here. How did?
Oh yeah, it's way easier than trying to just like remember all the players.
Yeah.
Just type in Raiders and you can just like see the list.
Okay.
Who I want to consider in my queue. Yeah.
That's smart. You're making it easier for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
we still might fall victim to the star method here. I mean, we're queuing up guys who are really late, so we got to make sure that we don't time out on any of our picks.
Well, then, and it's funny because the thing that Geek will have, because he's been doing these streams 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and you know, he'll get a lot of guys in here drafting with him, and they know all the guys he likes, so you know, you just get sniped like crazy.
Oh yeah.
In this
I've been there. Yeah.
Do you have that problem too?
Oh yeah, not as much this year, but last year when I was streaming all 150 of my drafts,
Okay.
People in my rooms definitely knew who I wanted.
Right.
But that's kind of you kind of expect it as a streamer.
Right. Yeah. All right. So we got Jameson. We got Marion Hampton here. Could probably wait on the running backs. Who do you like here? I like JMO.
Yeah, JMO seems good.
Okay.
Nice start.
Yeah, definitely. It's always easier when you're picking towards the front. Well, sometimes I like picking at 12 just because you dictate the draft a little more if you're willing to reach, you know.
Yeah. I will say my like the example that I gave of Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and then the Ravens. It's tougher here, admittedly. Like taking Nico Collins. Like, did we reach enough for Nico Collins to like get a super unique? I think we got a unique combo, but
yeah,
this is such an interesting format. Just like trying to think through like how do I get different from what everybody else is doing here.
Right. Yeah, I know you make a good point.
I also like the team that we have right now. I think we're good for like every week. Like this is going to be a team that's going to be great early on. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like this is a strong team.
Yeah, and that's really what I like. All right, I think I'll take Marion Hampton here.
Sure.
What do you think?
I like it.
Okay. Have two strong running backs to start the draft.
Yeah, really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good. And we have another late quarterback option in Jared Goff. Not that late, I guess, but
yeah,
building out some optionality on the team.
So you just go Lions.
Yeah, look at that. It's like magic. You got to scroll up though. You got to scroll up.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I like it. Yeah, I guess you could do Monty. Little team stack there. We already got Bowers, so we're probably not going for Laporta, but yeah, we can get Goff.
Have you drafted any Tesla?
Have you been taking any Tesla? What are your thoughts on him?
I have no real thoughts on him. I like occasionally on a team where I have the Lions stacked or the Vikings stacked, I'll consider him for like regular best ball, but honestly not a priority for me. Just like a 18th round occasionally if I have the stack.
Yeah, I get that. And that's kind of how it is, you know, those last rounds, like you kind of want to spread out exposures, right? And take some shots on some different guys who are getting buzz. And specifically if they're like attached to a good offense.
Yeah.
But I had a question for you, Neil. Who are some of your guys that you really are targeting this year?
Yeah, I hate to sound like a homer, but it is true. Like JJ McCarthy is one that I'm targeting.
Yeah.
And Jordan Mason is actually right there with him as like, I'll reach a little bit now. No, Jordan Mason has actually moved up enough now that he's less of a target in the mid 90s, but still somebody I like there. Like I think that if I did rankings, I might have him. He'd be like neck and neck with Aaron Jones for me, maybe even ahead of Aaron Jones. I just think the goal line role there on the Vikings, and from what they're saying, it sounds like they want him to have the goal line role. He's an explosive back. It's going to be a split backfield right away. Maybe if anything happened to Aaron Jones, who happens every year, stuff happens to Aaron Jones.
Right.
But just there's a ton of opportunity there for Jordan Mason. So he's a guy that I'm definitely targeting. I'm trying to think who else I'm like significantly over the field on. It's going to be a lot of the like more zero. I mean, Austin Eckler is a guy that I like late. Has been kind of a running back that I've been targeting a bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take on more of a role. I don't think Brian Robinson has been like that amazing. So I think there's kind of an opportunity there for Austin Eckler. All right, who do we want here? Jalen Waddle's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I could totally see that, especially if Tyreek Hill got traded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten enough of Dunze either. But
if you want to go there, I'd be fine. Yeah, either way.
Yeah. I've been trying to target him more though lately because it's funny because I was high on Burden, and then there's just been that soft tissue injury, and there's been some chatter that, they're kind of getting frustrated with it. And I was like, okay. And then I've started to come around on the fact that like Rome Odunze is a guy that you might need this year in that offense, because Rome Odunze was, he was highly regarded last year, which was an amazing wide receiver draft. It was Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze and Brian Thomas Jr., right? And Odunze came on at the end of last year, as a lot of people know. So been trying to get some of him, but
yeah. Nice click.
I still like the running backs here. Judkins and Caleb. What are your thoughts?
Who's your preference? Up to you. I'm good with either.
I think I'm going to go Caleb. I probably need to diversify a little more and get more Judkins, but typically I like to target running backs on teams that are, projected to win more games. That's supposed to, especially in a half PPR, right?
Yeah.
Touchdown dependence is pretty huge.
I think I'm with you on that. I definitely prefer it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, C-Money. Although it gets to the point, though, where I've been clicking Caleb in so many drafts that, like, I need to diversify a little bit, because if he tears his ACL in training camp, well, there goes all my drafts, because I've been clicking his name so many times.
Interesting. He hasn't been like a target for me. He's something that I get a fair amount just because I do so much like zero and hero RB that like I kind of like running back in this range, but have not been really prioritizing him that much. You a believer in the talent, or just like the situation there in Pittsburgh because you're expecting them to be pretty good, or what's the draw for you to Caleb Johnson?
Yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, I think Judkins is a better talent, but I just don't think the Browns are going to be very good, and the Steelers they're good every year, and I think Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade, from what they've had the past couple of years at quarterback. So, I expect them to win games and give Caleb Johnson a lot of goal line carries. So that's nice. That's mainly been it, because it sucks because Judkins, I think, was, arguably number 2 running back after Gianti,
Yeah.
So.
Josh Downs, by the way, another player that I like to target, even though I don't.
Yes.
I'm worried about the offense, but just where he's going in drafts, I think he's a really, really strong target.
Most definitely. Yeah, I like that.
I'm probably going to continue moving up. So like get him now while he's in the 90s.
No doubt. Yeah, we definitely need another we need to hammer wide receiver a little more before it starts to dry up. I've been taking a good amount of Ibuka. He's one of my guys this year, but also like I need to get more Rashid Shaheed, because he's like the perfect weekly winners format guy. Like he'll just pop for 25 points.
Yep. A few times, and he was looking more consistent last year too. Like he did it several times.
Yeah.
So it'd be Downs or Mason for me probably.
Yeah, let's.
If you want Ibuka or something, I'm cool with that too.
No, I think let's take Downs. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we're also already pretty strong at running back, so less of a need for Mason.
Yeah, we're clearly waiting on quarterback. But yeah, I think it's kind of setting up well for us to take some quarterbacks here in a little bit.
Yep. This is also a format where Brandon Ayuk, like if you are just targeting late season, Brandon Ayuk suddenly looks really attractive.
Yeah. It's a good point. I like Mooney a lot this year too.
Yeah, Mooney, another strong pick for this. Yeah, so who do you think? Did Shahid go?
He did go, yeah.
Okay. Mooney also a pretty, strong option there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot that he's going to be a heavy part of the offense this year, and he was good last year.
Yeah, everybody kind of thought when Michael Penix came in that maybe Mooney would be the guy, like the kind of deep threat kind of guy that would benefit from Michael Penix. So if they start really connecting this year, like that could be pretty powerful. Maybe Penix is the guy we want on this team.
Yeah, no doubt. I like this call. I was heavy on Jaylen Warren like a lot last year, especially when him and Najee were like priced near the same. He was a discount to Najee, but like, let me just play Jaylen Warren. And
I assumed he was talking about Tyler Warren, but maybe he is talking because we were talking Caleb before.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh yeah, that was a few minutes ago. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't love Jaylen Warren as much this year though.
Yeah, he is like he sort of benefits from Aaron Rodgers' check down tendencies. So like he does have that going for him this year, but yeah, it's like it's getting to the point of like, is it ever going to happen? I'm less confident than I was last year.
Yeah. Geek with the pink powder boy, Stephon Diggs, and he is true brand.
Yeah,
might have 100% Javonte this year.
He has not taken a single rookie yet, has he?
Let's see.
I can't see the top of his team, so maybe.
Yeah,
no rookies. He does have some young guys there though.
Yeah. Got Jonnu. All right, so maybe we're probably gonna have to take a quarterback here pretty soon. Maybe we take Goff. It'd be a good spot to get Goff if he's still there.
Yeah, if Goff falls, then yeah, sure, I'd take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or Shahid.
I must have unclicked him on accident. I didn't think he was there.
Oh. Well, pretty nice if he accidentally comes back to us.
Yeah. No joke, huh? There he is. Should we take him?
Let's do it because we have other quarterback outs.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Goff guy. I mean, I think he's fine. Like he's not a bad pick.
I agree.
Just like there's so many quarterbacks that I like in this area.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's hard to take him without Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Or like I would take him with Jameson Williams, but then I'm making sure to get Laporta, or Gibbs too, who will correlate well with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. All right, so there he went. They kind of saved us on that. About to come back around. We got 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers. We could take another running back. We could take CJ Stroud. Probably just take CJ.
Sure. CJ's fine. We'll need to get a quarterback. We also have Tua later. We've got. Let's see. CJ, has upside there.
All right.
We can throw on Dalton Schultz later if we want to do a double stack.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought about taking Ramondre there.
You're making the rookie mistake again. You got to search Texans, then you can get your Jalen Noel in there.
That's true because we missed out on Higgins and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I got to get in the habit of this. Okay.
It's just easier. It's just you don't have to memorize every player on the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would love Penix on this team since we have Darnell Mooney. Like I think their ceilings are very correlated.
Did Penix go? I feel like he went.
Oh, did he?
No, maybe not. Well, I would have thought he would have gotten before JJ.
No, I think JJ has a higher ADP.
Does he?
Maybe not in this format.
Okay. 147. We go with that.
Yeah, if JJ was going or Penix is going, I would take him 90% of the drafts. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but
no, yeah, for sure. Penix has a lot of weapons. Like he should have a good year, for sure.
Yeah, for real. Even like not including Kyle Pitts in that, like just like Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney, they look good.
Ray McLeod's a guy you can get late, you know?
Yeah. Which I kind of like late round stacking in this in particular. I don't want to. I often kind of avoid spending too much draft capital on one team early because it's like hard for them all to hit the same week. But like adding on to your stacks with late round picks where it doesn't really cost you that much, I think makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tua goes. We did have. I thought about Tua as a potential out for us too, but I don't really mind
with
that.
Waddle.
Yeah.
And then I guess Johnny went. All right, so
I think Penix for me, unless you want something else.
Might as well. Yeah, I think that's a good stack. And then we can get I did it that time.
Nice.
Although I didn't do it far enough.
No, you gotta scroll up.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so we can get Ray.
Pitts could be if you
Algier. Would you stack Algier or no? Probably not, right?
Probably not. Yeah, because they're pretty negatively correlated, I think.
Yeah.
Although Algier did have there's at least one game I remember last year when Algier was suddenly they're going 2-minute drill and they kept Algier in there and he just kept hitting short passes. But I think that's a rare thing for them to hit together. Pitts could be if he's still there. Yeah, I don't think a ton of Pitts, but this might be a team where we consider him.
There he is.
He goes.
He just went, of course. All right, so we're gonna
Luther Burden. That's so late for Luther Burden. I guess this is maybe because of weekly winners. Up to you. Yeah, I like the fall.
Yeah, and it's kind of to your point too. He's got that soft tissue injury, of course, that we're a little worried about. But once a guy starts falling past ADP and he was top of the second round pick,
right,
and arguably the best wide receiver in the draft, besides Travis Hunter. Yeah, I'm good taking that pick. And Tet, it's kind of those three guys.
Yeah.
All
Geek says if Winston goes to the Saints, Shaheed will be a stud. I mean that'd be fun. They just had I forget who it was. One of their vets was just kind of saying that he wants Winston on the Saints. Who was it? There I can picture him. Cam Jordan? Might have been Cam Jordan.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. The pass rusher.
Yeah.
I honestly, when I was in my early 20s, there's no way I would have been able to handle the fame in the party life in the off season of.
Yeah, it's amazing that these guys can. Yeah,
I definitely would have been in trouble. I'll just say that.
They're young, they're in shape, they've got all the money in the world. They can the world is their oyster. It's amazing how many of them do stay on the straight and narrow.
No joke. All right, so we probably got to think about taking another running back. I like Jalen Wright. I think he's got huge upside. We got Rico Dowdle, Roshan Johnson. I like both of these guys here.
This feels like a team that we've built largely for later in the year. So I think that makes sense.
Okay.
For this team, yeah. A lot of our players are they could hit early on, but a lot of them are built for. And we also, I love that we have both Mooney and Shaheed, both just if they both hit 25 in the same week, which could happen.
Yeah, and that's also a divisional opponent, so maybe they have a shootout.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, we're looking good.
Yeah, we got to take another tight end, but we can get one in the last 4 rounds for sure since we got Bowers.
Yeah, really we have a ton of outs there.
Yeah. I love tight end this year. I feel like there's just the whole way through. After
the problem is I do every year. I feel like every year, you can make a case for so many tight ends as and the coach speak is always oh yeah, he's ready to take a big leap this year. You hear about literally every tight end in the league. It's oh yeah, he's going to be a stud this year.
And then he's Kincaid.
Exactly.
So tilting every week. Okay, so we're going to take
Jalen
Wright here.
Yeah, take Jalen Wright. Yeah,
perfect. And also, he does correlate with Jalen Waddle, so I like that pick.
Yeah. Yeah, team's looking good. I think it's, cohesive, makes a lot of sense for like a late season breakout kind of team. It could be good early. Like we've got enough like stars also to be good early on, but like a lot of players that could just like really break things later on in the season.
Yeah, agreed. And if, by the way, if one of these two teams that we drafted hits, I'll be sending some money your way on Venmo.
All right,
just like a nice gift, Christmas
oh,
gift,
yeah.
call it.
Nice. Take a bonus there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 173. We could take another quarterback, or probably good on 2.
Pat Bryant. We could go Pat Bryant again, or Bretton Strange. Either of those. Keenan Allen, actually, I kind of love.
Yeah, let's take Pat Bryant.
Okay.
I would have taken Keenan Allen if I had a little more time to think about
it.
Yeah,
I didn't give you a ton of time. I just saw the name. I was like, oh shit, he could like. He's the type of guy that just like could be a 0, could be have multiple games of plus fantasy points.
I feel like someone's gonna get hurt in training camp, and Keenan Allen's gonna sign and just have like a big year. He was good last year. Like even we had Fat Keenan in training camp. It didn't matter. Like he was good last year.
Turns out Fat Keenan is good Keenan.
Yeah, and we got Fat Debo. I don't know that it'll go the same, but what are your thoughts on Debo Samuel?
It's funny. I was just reading in the Coach Speak Index, the coach is talking about like, oh, he's looking so fast. Like you forget how fast he is. And then I see the clips of him. I'm like, doesn't look fast to me. But I mean, he does have some time. He's still young enough. I'm not that worried about Debo. I haven't drafted a ton of him, but just because I rarely like, he's not the name that I click there unless I have Jaden Daniels typically. But yeah, I think he's a fine pick where he's going.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you too. He's a guy that's like more of a Jaden Daniels stacking piece for me. I don't know how much I'll have outside of Jaden, just because he just did not look good last year, and because he's such a gadgety player, he's just like really hard to project,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Totally fine, just not like I'm gonna end up almost certainly underweight on Debo, just because there are a lot of other names that prefer in that range.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got 4 running backs. Definitely need to take probably at least one more, maybe 2. We got Sanders. We could double up on Sanders, or we could take Jarquez Hunter. I kind of prefer him. What are your thoughts?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with either. We take Will Shipley.
We also can take Schultz here to fill out our CJ Stroud double stack.
Yep.
If he's there. But yeah, you're right about Shipley too. We'll see if he falls.
Yeah, all those seem like strong options to me. Do you take any like Brashard Smith? Speaking of the Chiefs' unknown running back situation.
I haven't, but I probably should be, because I've been taking up a lot of Pacheco, just assuming that he bounces back. But what if he does not bounce back?
Right. I mean, I think both are where they're going. I think Pacheco's a strong bet. Brashard Smith's kind of a last round pick. Seems okay to me.
It was crazy to me that I definitely lost some money on Pacheco last year, because I was like, oh, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna get it together. And then every week, Kareem Hunt was the guy that you needed, like at least in the small like playoff slates,
Oh yeah.
It was so tilting, but
yeah, I kept taking Pacheco also. Yeah, I think I was in the same boat as you. It was just like, all right, at some point he's probably going to take on a bigger role. And it's like, nope, they just really love their 3 yards per carry from Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, the guy they signed off the streets, Kareem Hunt. Oh man. That's kind of like playing UFL. Like it's just like, oh yeah, here comes the running back 2 or the running back 3 to break the slate.
Well, I ended up looking like an idiot this year because I kept on betting against Jay Sean Corbin, because early on it was like, all right, this guy was like 2.5 yards per carry. He has 1 breakout game, and then the entire field was jamming him. I was like, I'm just not going to play a guy that the entire field didn't look good. And then, of course, he's breaking off 20, 25 fantasy points every game for the second half. Finally got back in on him at the end, but yeah, man, UFL.
It was so tilting too, because I'm such a big Anthony McFarland fan.
I know.
This dude is the best guy in the league, and he won't get enough carries. Why won't they give him more carries? And then one of the weeks, I was like top 5 in the main. Should we take Shipley here?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. I think. Anyways, I was like top 5 in the main, and McFarland that week, like he got a lot of carries in the first half, and he like broke one for like a touchdown. I think it was like a pass. He like broke for a touchdown, and then he hardly got the ball in the second half. And I was just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Turns out that entire team was just kind of broken. Like,
Yeah.
the coaching staff was like feuding, and yeah, it's just weird stuff. What are your? I have not drafted a single share, but what are your thoughts on Taysom Hill?
I haven't. I think I drafted him once, but from the sound of it, like because I think he tore his ACL so late that like
Yeah, probably
we're not
coming
sure
back.
if he's going to be ready for like half the season. So it's just kind of like,
If he's there for half the season, I think he's a great tight end.
yeah,
but I think it could be longer. Like, it might be like, I don't know if it comes
right.
back at all.
Yeah, right. It might be like a November, December return.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm just like, am I wrong? Maybe I need to read up on his timeline, because if he does come back for even like, if he's going to be ready for week 10 at tight end, like where's tight end eligible? I think that's like worth considering, particularly in something like weekly winners, where it's like, I mean, what if they're not loving what they're getting out of Tyler Shuck, and then we get Taysom Hill in there at quarterback? I mean, that'd be
Right.
fun. Again, I have not drafted him, so I'm really like throwing out totally harebrained galaxy brain ideas, but just a thought.
No, it's true. But, well, and the thing is like we were talking about earlier, I really like a lot of the tight ends, so I've just been like, I'm not going to need Taysom,
right.
So, but yeah, maybe
also true. But like when you have Rashid Shaheed, like what is Taysom Hill throwing a touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, and you get correlation with your tight end to your wide receiver, and then you've got your other quarterbacks. I mean, come on, sky's the limit here.
I know, and that's the thing. I think I've been taking Tyler Warren, just hoping that he's the Taysom Hill on steroids that he's been advertised as.
Yeah, could be.
You've been getting a good amount of Tyler Warren too.
Not enough. I've drafted some, but he's like I guess the rankings that I use just have never really had him high enough that I get a ton.
Yeah. All right, so we got 8 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, and 5 running backs. So, do we take another running back here?
I'd be fine with Dylan Sampson again, or DJ Giddens, Brashard Smith. Yeah, I think any of those look good.
All right, let's take Sampson, because it sounds like he might have some good value week to week as a receiving back.
Yeah, yep. Then he could just like win out the role there. Like, it would not be that shocking.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, and this is from like people who watch college football have talked about, like, it wouldn't be that shocking if he just beats out Quinshon Judkins and has a big role. Wow. I've not been drafting it that way, but
right. It'd be crazy. So yeah, we finished this one up. We got CJ Stroud to Nico Collins and Schultz double stack. We also got Penix with Darnell Mooney. So just kind of a single there. I don't really think we got any other Atlanta. No, we passed on Algier. Yeah, so just QB +1 with Penix. We got good backs: Chase Brown, Amarian Hampton, Caleb Johnson. So we got 3 guys. Maybe Amarian Hampton doesn't start right away, but we expect him at some point, right?
Yeah.
So 3 starters on good teams, playoff teams. Jalen Wright's kind of our meal ticket. If Devin A. Shawn gets hurt, he could be the guy. Same thing with Shipley.
Yep.
Saquon gets hurt, and then we got a good core of receivers: Nico Collins, Jamison Williams, Waddle, and we also got a secondary stack with Waddle and Jalen Wright. We got Downs, Mooney, Rashid Shaheed. So we got some guys that we know can pop, especially Mooney and Rashid Shaheed here.
Yep.
Burden, kind of same thing. If he gets over his injury, we know he's going to have some spike weeks. Pat Bryant, Sean Payton has compared him to Michael Thomas, so they took him in the 3rd round. We expect him to get a lot of targets, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Brock Bowers.
That's all you really need at tight end. Yeah, exactly. I mean, week 10, we've got Darnell Mooney is the number 1 receiver there. Michael Penix hitting him for a lot of long bombs. We've got Tyreek Hill's traded. Jalen Waddle suddenly the wide receiver 1 on Miami. Amon-Ra St. Brown's hurt. J-Mo takes, like, this team could just be massive late in the year.
Yeah.
Things break right.
I hope so, Neil. We'll take a look. I think Geek was the only other one that made it in here. We'll take a look at his draft. Had Puka Nacua, Achon, Jaden Daniels. So it went back-to-back drafts. We saw him go quarterback early. Was able to stack Jaden with Terry McLaurin, so I like that. James Conner, Debo, also got Debo in there. So little double. Some weeks it may be McLaurin. Some weeks it may be Debo. That's kind of what you need, right, in weekly winners.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. So went heavy on Washington. And it's just one of the things in best ball in general, right, is just betting on teams, right? So if Washington has the kind of year that this year that they had last year, maybe even better, their Geek's going to be set up pretty well in this. Diggs, Javonte, Jonnu, he had H-on, so that's a little stack, assuming Jonnu doesn't get traded. Got another stack there. Trevor Lawrence, did he go? No, he didn't get Brian Thomas Jr. Trevor,
Did Travis Hunter?
Or was it Travis Hunter? No Travis Hunter. I think kind of his idea here, it was just, Jaden's my guy, and just got Trevor to fill in the bye week, right? So he can obviously pop every now and then. Colston, Loveland, Eckler. So Geek went crazy on Washington. A lot of correlation. Wandale, Demario Douglas, Roman Wilson, and Mike Williams. Demario Douglas has been a guy that I've been coming on to late because it sounds like he's going to have a bigger role. What are your thoughts on him? You've been targeting him a little bit?
I've got some shares. I've not been taking him a ton. He's kind of just mixed in with a large group of those kind of late receivers. Like if I have Drake May, then yeah, sure, give me some Pop Douglas.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I need to read up on the coach speak from out of New England, because that's one of those rooms that like somebody should be really valuable there. And like if he is the guy that ascends and ends up being at the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 there, like I think that's a strong click. Yeah. No
doubt. Well, man, this was fun. Thanks for hopping on with me for sure.
Thanks for having me. Made
it different. It's good to think about these things in a different way from a sharp DFS mind. So really appreciate you hopping on. We'll have to have you on again sometime. Definitely.
For sure. Yeah, happy to. Thanks for
All
having
right. Well, that's going to do it for this week of Best Ball and Brews. If you like this kind of content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button. We do this every week. We also do Draftapalooza 3 times a week with Geek, 12 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you have you're subscribed so you never miss an episode when we go live. But we'll see you next time.